Here's more division of your new numbers, your complex numbers. And what you'll notice here is they will again ask me to write my answer in the form of a plus bi, so some number and another number times the I. That could be a minus. And what else you might notice is it's not as straightforward as the other ones. It's not like I can go 5 into this or whatever, you know, so we can't use our junior certs or our primary school stuff. We can't just do our division or our simplifying of a fraction. So we're now going to strategically multiply by the number 1. And the number 1 comes in many forms. So the number 1 is 5 over 5, 7 over 7, minus 2 over minus 2, minus a half over minus a half. Once we have the same number on the top and the same number on the bottom, they will simplify down to 1 over 1, because 10 divided by 10 is 1. 100 divided by 100 is 1. So we're going to try and be strategic here. And I want you to pause the video and I want you to see, is there any way that you can multiply by whatever, like choose whatever numbers you'd like, whether it's 10 over 10 or 20 over 20, or maybe I over I, that's a number, and I divided by I is 1. And I'd like you just to see that if you do choose that number and when you multiply, so this is actually great practice for your multiplication, do you end up with this? I am going to just continue on here. You pause the video and I'm going to go with the most, I suppose it would take a while for me to guess this, but I think I would get it. So have a bit of faith in yourself and go test out a few things. But what I'm going to multiply above and below by is this. Five minus I over 5 minus I. Now I'll explain in a minute as to why I did this, but let's just start multiplying out the top. So we go top by top, bottom by bottom. So let's carefully multiply at the top. 4 times 5, 20. 4 times a minus 1i is a minus 4i. 3i times a 5, well, 3 5s are 15 times an i. And then a plus by a minus is a minus. A 3 by a 1, it's a 1i here, is a 3. And I by I is I squared. All over. 5 by 5, 25. 5 by minus 1i is minus 5i. A 1i by a 5 is a plus 5i. And that by that, a minus by a plus, minus I by I squared. And what I'd like you to notice, and this is why I strategically chose this number to multiply by, so this is the number 1 in a very strange maybe looking way. Look at this, they cancel off. So that's why I looked at this number and I just changed this sign here, and that's what I multiplied above and below by. Now pause the video, go back over that, make sure you're happy with every step there so far. This is not the easiest of stuff, and that's why we're taking a good few classes to look at it. If you're finding it easy, brilliant, that's great. Just maybe go ahead and practice a few more questions yourself. So hopefully you've gone back over the video as far as this point and you're happy with every step that I took there. Now I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Well, what do I notice? I see I squared. I squared is more familiarly known as the number -1. Remember, I is the square root of -1, so I squared is this. So anywhere I see an I squared, I'm going to change it. So I'm going to leave the top line exactly as it is, except anywhere I had an I squared, I'm going to replace it with a -1. I'm going to leave the bottom line exactly as it is. Now that's clear to me that they're crossed off, so I don't need to include those anymore. It's 25 minus an I squared, I'm replacing with a -1. Okay, so what's 25 minus -1? So that's 25 plus 1. And then on the top we have 20 minus 4i plus 15i. And then what's -3 times a -1? It's a +3. Okay, so we have 20 plus 3, 23. And then we have a -4i plus 15 gives me a plus 11i all over 26. And then, even though it looks a bit awkward, we have 23 divided by 26 plus 11 over 26i. Now, unless I've made some sort of error there, then I have a number plus another number times I.